Yeah. Feel it.
Another week, Showtime.
Another week, man. We back at it.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Today's conversation is a tribute to the men and women who made the ultimate sacrifice. Those who fought and given everything for something greater than themselves. It's also a celebration of families they've left behind and a woman who found resilience to keep going, turning their grief into purpose and their pain into strength.
Look, this isn't just a podcast, this is motivation. They be like, Res training who? I just know they hate it. We ain't being patient, cause that mean that we be waiting. We just seeing greatness, I don't want it if it's painless. But that's in the past tense. Since I put the weed down, I've been snapping. Always had the tools to make it happen. Whether it was playing ball or getting rapping. Wasn't one box, these carrots can have me trapped in. The cycle of a black man, I'm just trying to break it. All by myself, with them L's I had to face it. Life is what you make it, you can't let nobody take it. Gotta watch out for them fake friends, stack your bread, don't stay complacent. God's gift.
Talk to him, Showtime. Talk to him, talk to him, talk to him.
I ain't even gonna do it yet. Not yet, not yet. Come on, Kenny. 3, 2, 1. Come on! Welcome back to ShowTIMESpeaks. Come on, man. I'm so excited. I can't even get my words out. We got a special guest in the building.
It's a lot of good energy.
I mean, there's
man.
so much good energy in here. This is the season of bringing ideas, bringing dreams, bringing everything to life. And don't forget, I think we got a rebrand too. ShowTIMESpeaks. The Keep Going podcast?
Yeah, you see the merch too.
The Keep Going podcast? Come on, man. Kenny, what's going on? What's up, bro?
Another week.
Yeah.
Week 5, week 4. Where we at?
Week 5.
Week
I think it's
5.
week 5, man.
5 weeks straight, man. It's good to be here. Got one of my favorite people in the building.
Yeah, man.
Everything good, man. How about you? How was your weekend? Talk to me.
I don't know, man.
I'm just, with that merch on. I see
the merch is in the building, man.
Merch is in the building.
Shout out to Wave One. We are in the building, man. The Keep Going brand is finally, listen, it's not here, fully yet.
Yeah.
But we introducing it, man, and I'm loving what I'm seeing. Shout out to Wave One, man. Shout out to Kenny, too, because Kenny would want to put me on. So I'm extremely excited to put this on. And every time I put this on, it's going to remind me to never quit, to never stop, and to always keep going. And the line that goes through it, it really represents everything that we go through in our life, that wants us to stop, that wants us to give up, and wants us to curl up into a ball, cry, and never try again. But, when you put this on, you always going to remember to always keep going.
Because I was going to ask you, how does it feel to actually have it on? We've been talking about it for, I've been telling you to do this for the past 5 years.
No, 1,000%.
Now that you finally got it on, your own merch, I know for me, when I first had my first brand on, I always stay with the Reds on.
No,
it felt good to just be wearing it, you know what I mean?
It does, it's like I sleep in it, I eat in it, I go to the gym in it.
Yeah.
I feel like you, bro.
No, because that's you.
You know what I'm saying? And it's just it makes me feel like I'm doing what I'm supposed to do, but it's
100%.
also a part of what we talking about. We bringing dreams, we bringing things to life. That's what we talked about. So it's just to be able to do something that we talked about, it means something to me, man, and it has real purpose to it. And sometimes it's on God's time and not just on you. So I'm excited, man. Before we even get the show started, you know where we got to go, Kenny. Shout out to the sponsor. The jewel that keeps us cool. Oops, I meant COZZI. Stop playing.
Stop playing with it, man.
Come on, man.
You know me. I'm going to show my custom piece, you know what I mean?
We both showing off today.
You got the Reds, you got the custom art with the diamonds in there. You know what I mean? Go check out COZZI. The holidays is here. Go check them out.
Yeah. If you need a piece, man, listen, it's Christmas time too. You know what you got to do. As we get close, and, we love when we have guests come on the show. It means so much to us because we get a chance to really expand our reach. And this next guest that we have, the list of accolades, I'm about to go down this whole thing right now. And this person, this woman, because, this is something that we wanted to do for so long. We were a guest on her show, and now she's a guest on our show. She's inspired thousands, 200 plus speeches, 300 plus guest media appearances, a motivational speaker, CEO of one of the nation-leading veteran services organizations, Travis Manion Foundation, an author of a book, Knock at the Door, founder and host of Resilient Life podcast, a wife, a mother of 3, Miss Ryan Mannion, how you doing? What's going on?
Oh my gosh, that introduction. I'm going to bring you with me every time I go to speak to introduce me.
How'd I do?
You did amazing.
Oh man, let's go. Come on, the energy is in the room. Let's go. Man.
Yeah, it's good to have you here, Ryan. It's great to have you here. You know, a little background story about me.
I want to hear it.
I train her kids, Maggie and Honor. And I was her personal trainer too. Maggie started training with me. And then, I was training her and her friends. Then she asked me one day, hey, can you come would you be able to come to my house in the morning?
Yeah.
Any athlete, like young, I don't care how old, but especially like high school, that was in high school at the time, that asked me to come train early in the morning, I'm going to do it. Because not everybody does that. That just tells me that you really want it. So I came in and the first session was her and her. It might have been just her. And then you joined. Then we made it a weekly thing.
Yeah.
Tuesday, Thursday, 5:30 in the morning.
5:30.
We used to start the day off like that, man. So
and I used to monopolize the time because Maggie would be like, Mom, Kenny's here for me. Because I'd be like, Kenny, can we go? I see him like boxing with people. I'm like, I have boxing gloves. Like, let's box.
Yeah.
And I'm in the other room and Maggie's like, no, he's here for me.
Yeah.
So it was cool. It was cool. We definitely built a good relationship through that. And, I just want to say I appreciate you for coming and can't wait for people to hear your story.
Nah, yeah, man. I remember those times when Kitty called me. He's like, hey, I'm training this lady and her kids, and like she's a part of the Ryan Mannion Foundation. She's a killer, man. Travis, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And she's out there, she's killing it. And I was like, no, you serious? She's got a gym in her basement? That's crazy, bro. That's crazy. In Doylestown next to Delval, bro. That's right where I used to go.
Yeah, bro.
It's so crazy when we went to go do the Resilient Life podcast. Yeah. It kind of took me back down memory lane when we were there. I want you to talk about the Resilient Life podcast for a second and what it means to you. And matter of fact, before we even get to that, I want to go to the main thing. I want you to talk about the Travis Mannion Foundation and what it means to you and what inspired you to want to, to do this, after losing your brother, and what gave you the courage to even take this step to do what you've done?
I'll say that I take absolutely zero credit in the Travis Mannion Foundation and the start of it, the evolution of it. It was my mom. So after Travis was killed, my mom started the Travis Mannion Foundation. And really for our family, we saw it as a way for a grieving mother to channel the grief of her son through giving back to others. We never saw it more than a small memorial fund in the Philadelphia area.
Yeah.
And the first thing she did, she started a scholarship at LaSalle College High School.
Wow.
Where Travis went to high school. She started a scholarship at the Naval Academy for Navy wrestlers, where Travis wrestled. And then she started putting her support behind innovative programs that were helping our veteran community. And I'm always very upfront to say that I jumped on the bandwagon because it got to a certain point where I was like, oh my gosh, like she's actually doing something here. She's having real impact for our military community. And I quit my job and started working alongside her. And I worked alongside my mom for about 1.5 years before she passed away from cancer. And so it was when she passed away 2 weeks later, our board of directors said, you're now in charge. And it was the scariest moment of my life.
Wow.
Because at this point, we had grown exponentially. We were a large organization, and I felt such pressure. I felt this pressure to like carry on this organization that my mom had started, but it was also in my brother's name. And so I felt like I had such tremendous shoes that I had to fill. So it was very scary at first. And I had no idea how to run a nonprofit. That I came from, I was a small business owner. I owned clothing boutiques. I was totally new to this line of work.
Yeah, man.
What's up? Dang. So when you started, how did you learn? Did you just learn from your mistakes? Did you ask for help?
So the first thing that I did is I went to a Barnes & Noble and I bought nonprofit 101 for
Wow.
dummies, literally. And I had it because you have to know,
all
like
the
the industry
details.
that you're
Yeah.
in, like nonprofit is a very specific industry. There's a lot of rules and regulations. And so I had that on my nightstand. I read it every night. But the other thing that I talk about a lot, and I talk about this a lot with women, is, you know, one of the things that was also really, really challenging for me is that I was running a veteran service organization. So if you know the landscape of veteran service organizations, you think about like Wounded Warrior Project and all of these other big organizations like that helping veterans. They're all run by a certain profile.
Yes.
And it's
There we go.
men
Mm-hmm.
who are veterans.
Yeah.
And I was a female
Yeah.
who wasn't a veteran.
Yeah.
And so I had a little bit of imposter syndrome for a long time. And I felt like nobody was going to take me seriously. And there was this pivotal moment for me. I had been, it was about 6 months after my mom passed away. I got an email asking me to come to the White House because they were having a small roundtable discussion with some of the top veteran service organizations to discuss like the state of, you know, veterans in our country. And I was like, oh my gosh, yes, like they're finally taking me seriously.
Yeah.
So I get to the White House and I walk up to the room and I see the conference table and I can see like the placards. And it was only about 12 people that they had asked.
Yeah.
And I could see my name on the placard, Ryan Mannion. And when I walked up, a gentleman met me at the door and he said, great to see you. You can take a seat anywhere along the wall. And there was a row of chairs along the back of the wall. And it's where everybody's assistants were sitting. I didn't bring an assistant. I just came by myself. And I said, okay, but that's my name right there at the table. Not realizing that when they sent me the email, they didn't know who I was. They thought Ryan Mannion. I have a boy's name. They thought I was a man.
Oh,
and
wow.
so, and he was very apologetic. He's like, I'm so sorry. You know, I'll take a seat. And so I sat down at the table and it was me and, you know, 11 or 12 other gentlemen. And I was super quiet because I was like, oh my God, they didn't even know who I was, you know.
Yeah.
And then towards the end of the meeting, I started talking. And I started talking about the work that we were doing at our organization. And I kind of saw these like collective nods. And, you know, people were talking to me and they were saying, we didn't think about it that way, or that's a great point.
Yeah.
And I remember when I walked out and the gentleman again that worked for the administration, he said, I want to apologize once again. I'm like, no worries. And I remember when I walked out of the White House that day, I was like, that's it. Like, I now have to believe in myself.
Yes, sir.
Because
Yeah.
like in my head, it was like, I thought everybody was just like putting me down and didn't believe in me. But I realized that it was like, I just wasn't believing in who I was.
Oh my gosh.
I just got the chills. Wow,
That's
real.
I literally had an epiphany just thinking about that the other day. Like, you have to be so confident in what you do and what you bring that like nobody can never tell you anything.
Yeah.
And, you know, you being a woman, it's hard, you know, especially walking into those rooms where it's a male dominant type of space. Like, talk about what it's been for you as a woman to be able to do and be who you are and walk in these rooms, going from where you were to where you are now. Because I would never have thought that this confident woman, you would be not confident going into these places. Talk about that and what it's meant to you.
Yeah. Well, you know, again, like one of the things that I realized walking out of the White House that day was like my belief in myself was infinitely more important than anyone's belief in me.
Yeah.
And so, you know, I get the opportunity to speak to a lot of women's groups and I love it because I think as a woman, a lot of times we are creating our own self-doubt in our own minds.
100%.
And, you know, I'm not someone who thinks, you know, I'm at a disadvantage being a woman. I actually look at it as a great strength and power.
Yeah.
But there is a little bit of like, sometimes it can be intimidating. And especially in the line of work that I'm in, I don't feel that way anymore. But like, that was a big curve that I had to overcome. And, you know, a lot of times I'm talking about women about like, don't worry about all the noise out there.
Okay.
Like be confident in your craft and own it and go out there and like, again, just believe in yourself.
I love that.
You know?
I love that.
Man, drop the mic. Like that's beautiful. Just to even hear that. There's so many young women, older women that are out there that watch our show, and
we got little sisters
and
too.
we got little sisters that watch the show too. To hear that, you know, it means a lot. You know, that was one of the things that we really wanted to bring to the show, and that's women empowerment and what you bring, and you represent that. I want to go into the next thing, just about how do you balance the life of being a mother, a wife, a CEO / everything / speaker.
All the hats.
How do you wear all those hats and still be able to give back to you?
Well, sometimes I don't wear them all well, you know? I think it takes a village. I think there's this, like, for women, there's this idea of, and there's kind of this thing that you talk about, like, can you have it all?
Yeah.
You know, can you have the career, but also be at home and be that mother figure that you need to be? And I have found that over the years, like, I haven't been able to do it all. Like, I've missed a lot of things that I've wanted to be at for my kids. And, you know, there's decisions I've had to make of, like, what comes first, what is more important. And ultimately, it's always going to be my kids.
Yeah, 100%.
But there are sacrifices that I've had to make in terms of being there for every little thing for them. But I also think at the end of the day, like, our kids learn and grow by our example.
Yes, indeed.
You know, so for that one Christmas concert I may have missed, you know, it's made up for the fact that as my kids grew older and continue to grow older, they see, like, Mom missed that Christmas concert because she was doing this.
Exactly. Yeah.
And, you know, I've got 2 still in the pipeline, but, you know, I have a daughter that's at the United States Naval Academy. So on some level, I'm like, I feel like I did something right,
100%,
you know?
100%.
So, but again, it's always about sharing the example of what you want them to be by what you're doing. And there's nothing more important than that as a parent.
Yeah.
That's love.
That's love. Also, just to piggyback off that, I know you got all this stuff going on, but I want you to talk about, because I see it and I've been a part of it, taking care of you first. I see you work out in the morning, like 5 a.m., 5:30 in the morning before you start your day. Is that big for you, taking care of yourself first, filling your own cup so you can fill everybody else's, or do what you got to do?
I mean, 100%. So when I was growing up, my dad's a retired Marine Corps colonel. And growing up as a young woman, if anything was bothering me, and I'll tell you, I straight up had a very, I don't want to say complicated, but my dad and I had our issues because he led with tough love. And if I came home and said, you know, I got in a fight with my best friend, and my dad would be like, well, maybe you should go for a run and think about it. You know, if I said, like, I have a cold, my dad said, nothing better than going for a run to clear out the sinuses. Like, everything that was bothering me, my dad felt could be cured by going for a run. And so that's what he would always talk to me about. And I resented him for that because I would always feel like he doesn't get it. He doesn't understand. But after Travis died, the first thing, you know, in true Colonel Mannion fashion, my dad's like, we're going for a run, and we're going to run the Marine Corps Marathon. We're going to run 26.2 miles. So weeks after he died, I signed up for the Marine Corps Marathon. And that is what helped me to heal. Because every day when I felt like there was nothing I could do but just curl up in a ball in bed, I knew I had one thing I had to get done, and it was train for that marathon. So I may do nothing more that day than just run 5 miles and then get back into bed. But every day I had to get up. And so over the course of the 6 months from the time he died until I ran the marathon, like, every day I knew my mission was to get out there and run. And obviously, both of you know, there is something very healing about getting out there and just running. And I, all of a sudden, began to understand what my dad meant when I was 12 years old and he was telling me to go for a run. Like, your physical health plays such an important role in your mental
100%.
health. And listen, I like to work out for the, physical benefits of it.
for sure.
But vastly more important for me is how it makes me feel
100%.
mentally.
Yeah. That's what's up.
I mean, that truly just hit my heart like super, super heavy, because there are a lot of women who go through this feeling of, one, some young women don't even really have their fathers.
Yeah.
And we as big brothers, sometimes we got to step into that role and be a certain kind of way for them. And, it's a heavy crown, because sometimes I found myself being not overly aggressive with my sister, but like trying to enforce just a strategy to get through things. And, especially when it comes to her trying to, I'm talking about my sister again, her trying to pick a school or the mentality that goes with it.
Yeah.
Just talking about building the mentality, like, it's so important. And sometimes I get hard on myself because I feel like, am I being too hard on her?
Yeah.
And for you just to say that, it just makes me feel like I am making a difference. I am doing something with so much purpose, and she may not understand it right now.
She'll get it one day.
But she'll get it one day, man.
Yeah.
That gets me emotional, because it's just like I'm super hard on myself when it comes to my little sisters and just women in general, man. And, even, relationships with different women or friendships or whatever. A lot of women, face these issues when it comes to taking care of their bodies and taking care of themselves and, taking constructive criticism and it not just being about their physical outward appearance, just really just being internal, that healing on the inside. Mm-hmm. If you were to talk to a female or talk to a younger woman about this subject, what other advice could you give her to help her see what you didn't see during those times when you were younger that you do see now as an adult? Always remember, a healthy way of living is the best kind of living. Always choose Bites and Blends. It's the healthiest way and the only way to win. Come on, man. Located in Dresser, PA. And don't forget to download the app. Come on, man.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like, and I talk to my girls about it all the time because, growing up, my dad, he always used to say, like, Ryan, you're the natural athlete. Like, when it came to my brother and I just had natural athletic abilities.
Yep.
I did absolutely nothing to harness them. Now, I still had a really successful career in lacrosse, played Division III at Widener.
Come on now. We're not friends because of that, but the rivalry.
But, I think about if I had put a fraction into, perfecting myself and the sport, an ounce of what my girls do, I mean, it would have changed. Yeah. It would have changed the trajectory of what my athletic career would have looked like.
Wow.
And I don't know what the magic ticket is. I think some people get it later than others. I certainly was one of them. My girls are just they're super driven.
They in it.
And, I'm constantly in awe of them because I know, Kenny says he's coming over to my house at 5:30 in the morning. That's because of my daughters.
Yeah.
It wasn't because of me. I just joined in the fun. Like, I never would have done that. Never would you have caught me inviting a trainer to my house in high school to come work out.
That's what I be saying.
Yo, you did. Yo, it's crazy that you said that.
Yeah, it's crazy, man.
But I think, again, women, this isn't just pursuant to women, but like you need to understand that like mental health is the most important driving factor for, being able to thrive.
Yeah.
Like higher mental health outcomes are what enable us to thrive as individuals. And if we are not focused on our physical health, our mental health will fail. Like it is just a fact. You cannot be mentally healthy if you are not physically healthy. It's impossible. And when you look at the state of our world today, and I don't want to go too far down a rabbit hole, but a lot of it is like, oh, you're this, take this. You're this, take this. It's like, you're this, like, again, it gets back to my dad. Go for a freaking run. Like, start working through,
that issue.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's really good. Like, when we talk about, training and working out and, it's not just about
physical. It's mental, man.
It's mental.
So mental.
That's how it is for me. It's
Kenny,
mental.
I want you to talk about that.
Nah, it's mental. Even with myself, man. I we talk all the time.
Yeah.
I go through stuff all the time, but at the end of the day, every day I wake up, the first thing I do is work out.
Yeah.
Because one, like I said, that's why I asked you that question. I pour into so many people every day. I got to fill my own cup up first.
Right, totally.
And me starting the day, like even this morning, I woke up and, I did a 20-minute workout. It wasn't like nothing crazy, but I got my body up and moving and, I felt good for the rest of the day. Like that's a win to start my day. So I truly believe that if you get yourself good first, like look out for yourself first, whether it's going for a walk, whether it's going for a jog, whether it's doing yoga, doing a 10-minute circuit, stretching, something a little active to start your day, mentally you're going to feel better.
Well, it's like the, when you're on a plane, like you got to put your oxygen mask on first, right? Before you can go and help other people with theirs, you got to have yours on first.
100%. So, yeah.
As we're still on the subject of, talking about women and you've overcome the grief of, losing your brother and stuff like that and, also losing your father too. Your mother. When it comes to people who have lost people, like the wives, the daughters, the people who have lost people, what has their, like their resilience taught you? Like just watching and being around all these people who have lost so much and for you to be there for so many of those people, like what has that taught you?
I think that one of the things that we as a family decided very quickly, and it was actually on the day of Travis's funeral, my dad called my husband, my mom, and I into their bedroom. And he said, I don't know what happens after today. This is the worst thing that could ever happen to us. But what I do know is that we have to move forward living lives worthy of Travis's sacrifice. And so we didn't know what that meant and how we were going to do that. But that day, we all committed that we were going to make that decision. And I think regardless of the circumstances of how you lose someone, you have to think about this idea is that you now have to live for them, right? So you have to live lives that they would be proud of. And so over the course of my journey with grief, listen, I've had a lot of ups and downs, but that's always been in the back of my head. Like, I have to live a life worthy of his sacrifice. I have to keep going because he cannot. And that for me is kind of how I have worked through it. I have the tremendous opportunity to be around a lot of families who have lost their loved ones in service to our country. And, I share that with them as well. And I think that we all have a decision when we lose someone to decide how it's going to define us. And if we want it to define us by pulling the covers off over our heads for the rest of our lives, like, I don't think that's an option.
I love this episode.
You got to keep going.
I love it.
You got to keep going.
It embodies everything that we talk about, the stories, the journeys. I mean, it's just beautiful to even hear you even say keep going, because how can you say that after what you've been through? But that's what it is. You have to. There is no other way. This is what is like, this is who we are. This is what we're supposed to do. And that's what we're trying to do, man. Like, I love this show. I love everything about it. I love the people who are involved. I just love it because it's just like, these kind of conversations are what helps saves people's lives, man. And it's beautiful just to be a part of something like this. I was driving up here right before I got here, and I'm praying in the car, just hoping that this thing went right and everything, and hopefully it's perfect for you. And I just get so anxious and excited because it's just like, put so much into this for people to want to keep going, to want to feel resilient, to want to feel relentless. Like, these are the moments that, like, we need to lean on each other for something. And I'm just extremely grateful. And I just wanted to say that. That's all.
Well, I think too, you talk about being resilient. Like, being resilient is a choice. You know, it's a choice that you actively make. And it's as simple as like when I talk about being resilient, it's about putting one foot in front of the other. And I literally did that after Travis died. Training for that marathon, I put one foot in front of the other every single day. And so like I use that as a metaphor for like, what does it mean to be resilient? Like you just have to wake up and put one foot in front of the other. And some days are gonna look ugly and those steps are gonna look super ugly, but you gotta take them.
You have to, no matter what.
Man, let's hop into the next thing, man. This I love it. Let's go. Let's keep this thing rolling. The motivation, the love, the energy, the passion is here. Let's go. Let's hop into the next segment. I love this segment because this is where we really get deeper into it. This is our video and picture segment where we have a bunch of different things that we're gonna go down memory lane.
Okay.
We have a video of you at the gala that you just were at, the Travis Manion Gala, and let's play it.
17 years after the Travis Manion Foundation community first formed in the wake of my brother's death. And tonight, I'm proud to share that in this year alone, we have empowered over 43,000 veterans and families of the fallen through personal development programs and the opportunity to serve. And the beauty of this work is that it doesn't just stop with those 43,000 veterans and how they themselves are changed. As many of us know, the military community was built to pass on their skills and experiences to others. The real magic happens when these veterans, who we call our Spartans, are redeployed into their local communities to leverage their strengths and continue their service for the betterment of us all.
Wow.
Let's talk about it. Let's talk about what that gala means to you. Let's talk about what that speech means to you. The floor is yours.
Well, that is our annual If Not Me Then Who Gala that we host every year in Philadelphia. The Thursday before the Army-Navy football game. We always do that. And, you know, that night this year was like every year a celebration of the work that we're doing at the Travis Manion Foundation. And it's an opportunity for us to share that with our biggest supporters in the room, to share that more broadly. And, you know, I mean, you heard it, 43,000 veterans went through our program this year. And so we continue to grow each and every year. And it's just incredible to see how this community grows and how life-changing it is to the military community that we support.
Yeah.
How do you feel like speaking in front of all them people? Like, do you get like nervous?
I love it.
You love
Me
it?
too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was about to say, because I know y'all got the same. It looked like you meant for that, like you built for that. So
No, it's good to see you.
I
doing
am
that.
much better. I would rather speak to thousands of people than have like a one-on-one conversation with someone, honestly.
No, that's funny.
nah, that was great.
No, it was.
That's great.
It was great to see. Hopefully, we get a chance to get invited to one of those galas.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Me and Kenny talked about it. He was like, "Man, like I wish we would have been able to go." And
I didn't even know about it. Like,
Nah,
you know me, I just texted her too. I was texting her. I would have been like, "Yo, can we come?"
Here we come. I would
All
have been
right,
suited.
next year,
and booted.
you guys got to suit up, black tie.
Oh yeah,
Let's
I like
do it.
that.
Yeah.
I love suiting up.
I love
Yeah.
it. Let's go to the next picture. You and Dave Portnoy, the head of Barstool.
Yeah.
Wow.
I want you to talk about what he's meant to you and the foundation and just personally and how the relationship started. Like, talk about it. Let's talk about this.
Yeah. So I met Dave Portnoy actually a few years ago at an Army-Navy football game. He's unfortunately an Army fan, but I'll let that slide. But
We're going to talk about that.
yeah, but I met Dave at the game and I just started talking to him about the foundation, and he said, anything I can do to help out. And that's literally all anyone has to say to me. Like, I'm like, you said it, here we go.
Damn.
And so one of the things, we honored him with our Military Advocate Award this year.
Oh, that's love.
Last year, Lane Johnson was our recipient. And when he said that, I called on him for a few different things. He's supported and sponsored our tailgate for the last 3 years.
That's love.
He did an awesome He did an awesome raffle with Miss Peaches, the most famous dog in the world, and helped us raise a lot of money for the foundation. And every time, nobody has a busier schedule than this guy. And every time I've called on him and asked him to do something, he has said yes without hesitation.
Wow,
He actually said, and it was funny in his speech, he said, Ryan is the perfect amount of pushy. And I'm like, I'm going to take that as the highest compliment, okay?
That's love.
But, you know, I think it's important, you know, someone with his platform to use it. And not everybody with a big platform does that. You know, they have such an opportunity to, and it doesn't have to be to the military community, but to like give back and bring awareness to causes that are important. And, you know, he walks the walk. And that's something, and, you know, one of the other things is that his philanthropy goes very quietly unnoticed. But he's raised over $50 million, you know, for the military and first responder community. Like that's outstanding.
That's outstanding.
And so we were able to thank him for that night. And then I was able to text him yesterday and banter with him a little bit because Navy got the big win on Sunday. on Saturday.
We're going right to that next.
yeah.
We got that right next. Let's go. Let's go right to it then. Navy won.
Navy won.
Navy won. And you predicted that Navy was going to win too.
I predicted it all over the place.
Yeah.
Like literally everybody I had on my show leading up.
Yeah.
In fact, the only people I could get on camera because I was with them a couple weeks ago were Lane Johnson and Jordan Mailata. And
my guys.
And I literally, I mean, I just used my iPhone. I was like, listen, I'm going to ask you who you want to win and you're going to say Navy. And they did. But everybody I was asking was like, Army, 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 Army. And I'm like, oh, you're all going to be eating your words. And
how was the game?
The game was amazing. Army was obviously picked. They were 11-1.
Yeah, having a good season.
And but I was just feeling it because from like I watched them. They both lost to Notre Dame, but Navy was able to move the ball better against Notre Dame, and so that was what I was resting on.
You hear her?
Yeah, she tapped in.
She's tapped into what's going on with the football
so I
game.
was like, I think Navy's gonna win this game.
Yeah.
And again, for me, like this was my daughter's first year. She's at the Naval Academy. She's marching onto that field.
Wow.
So for her to march onto that field, Navy wins. And I said to her, I was like, Maggie, we're going 4-0. Like
love.
all 4 years you're here,
That's
Navy's
love.
got to
That's
win.
I was going to say, I was going to ask you to talk about it. How do you feel about Maggie being at Navy?
Oh my gosh. I mean, it's just like the pride that we feel is just immeasurable. For her to make that decision. And Kenny, you know, she made that decision at 16 years old. She committed to play lacrosse there. And, you know, a lot of the kids we know, because and Kenny knows he works with all of Maggie's friends, they were all like 16 years old making decisions on where they're going to college. But the decision she made was not just to go to a specific college, but also she also made a decision to at least for 5 years serve in the military upon graduation. And so, I mean, I could not be more proud.
Yeah, be proud of you, Mag. If you're watching this, we're very proud of you. Keep up the good work. Keep working. She one of the hardest workers I know.
I'm about to say, I want to hear you talk about it, man. And the mentality and everything.
Yeah, bro. So look, I'm going to tell you a crazy story.
Yeah,
right?
I want to hear it. Come on.
And we probably talked about this on her pod, but the first time Dave hit me up was about Mag. He texted me, was like, hey, I got a daughter, wants to do speed and agility and, you know, strength training. So I said, I got y'all with the speed and agility, but I'm telling you, like the dungeon, you know, that environment is not no Lifetime Fitness. It ain't, you know what I mean? It ain't Germantown and Cat. Like, you know, it's straight loud music and football players and stuff in there. So the first time she came to work out was her and I want to say Emma came in there. Her and Emma. It's those two and all my college football kids. And, you know, they was getting to it. They wasn't backing down, did the whole workout. And, you know, from that day on, it showed me that, you know, not just Maggie, but her friend group too, but she had that mentality, bro, that Reds mentality, that relentless mentality. And her reaching out to me to come, we talked about it early in the morning, just showed me even more. Yeah. And I love athletes like that. Those are the athletes that, you know, that I want to train. That's that Red. So Again, I'm proud of you, and keep working, and hopefully I'll see you soon.
Well, and she loves that dungeon. Come on now.
She
Like she
loves
came
it.
back and she's like, yes.
Came right to the
She's
dungeon.
like, Mom, we were flipping tires and like she was so into it. So
as a mom, hearing that about your daughter, like how does that make you feel? Like what is that? That's a testament to you, how you raised her. Like how do you like advice to parents out there that are breeding kids and like what's the advice as a parent?
I think one of the things is that it's this fine balance between nurturing your kids and trying to guide them into what you believe they can excel in, but you can never push them. And for us, especially making this decision to go to the Naval Academy, you can't push a kid to do something they don't want to do.
Wow.
And, we talked a lot about that. And Kenny knows I have another daughter who's in her recruiting year right now. And Kenny said, so what's Honor? Is Honor thinking about Navy? And I'm like, oh, no way. She wants no parts of it. And guess what? As soon as she said, I don't want to go there, that conversation was off the table.
It's over.
It was like, okay, where do you want to go? Let's talk about that and let's try to find the right pick for you. And so I think as parents, we're there and we're designed to guide our children, but we can't make decisions for them.
Yeah.
And they have to chart their own path.
Yeah.
And we have to be there to help them achieve the dreams that they want to achieve for them, not for us.
What about when they're young? Like, what about little Trav right now? Is he, because I look at it like this too, from like my standpoint, when you're young, as in like, third grade to fifth grade, sixth grade, not all the way up to high school. Look, bro, you gonna go work out.
Oh yeah, there's a
You
little
get what
bit
I'm
different
saying?
that. Listen, I've got a 10-year-old and, it kind of depends. Like, he's in basketball right now. He loves basketball. So but there's times where, with lacrosse. And I think for him, it's like the less he feels confident in something, the more he'll kind of put up I don't feel like going. Well, I don't care you're going. At that age, you got to get them out there and experiencing everything.
I like that. Yeah.
And a lot of times their unwillingness to do something is just because they don't have the confidence to do it. And so it's about like doing it more. And like with Travis, we've set up a plan for him. Actually, Dave came in the other night. He goes, Trav and I were just outside and we made a decision for the next 50 days in a row, he's going to do 100 left hand, 100 right hand on the bounce back. And he's like, and we just went out and timed it, and it takes him like less than 15 minutes to do it. So it's those small little goals that, honestly for us, it's just about building his confidence. And so, you got to do a little pushing when they're young, for sure.
Okay.
For sure.
I love this conversation. Come on, man. Let's go. Because, me and Kenny ready to have kids, you know what I'm saying? Soon, you know what I'm saying?
You ready to have kids.
Chill,
Don't bring me in
come
this,
on,
bro.
man. Like, bro.
No, don't bring me in this, bro. Don't try to put me in it. Don't bring me in
Come
it.
on. Little relentless kids. Let's go to the next thing.
Crazy.
We got Lane Johnson up here. I want you to talk about what this means to you. This is the picture. That's the when it pertains to Lane, I saw a lot of videos, and I know Lane personally too.
Yeah.
Talk about that experience of just him, repping the foundation.
That's heavy.
Being down there last year, and he was the Walter Payton Man of the Year candidate for the Eagles last year. Talk about that experience and being around him and stuff like that.
Yeah, so my connection to Lane Johnson is actually his trainer. So Lane's trainer, Gabe Rangel, is he's awesome.
Heard a lot about him.
He also was a Marine.
Wow.
And in fact, one of his officers was a friend of my brother's. They wrestled together at Navy.
Wow.
And so when Gabe contacted us to say, hey, I really want to forge a relationship with Lane, like it's important, your organization's important. And one of the first things we started doing with Lane was not public. And we were actually last season at every away game, we connected him with families of the fallen the night before the game.
Wow.
So when the team was out eating, Lane was meeting with different families in different cities that were part of our community, giving them jerseys, thanking
Man, that's
them.
love.
The best was my girlfriend, she lost her husband in Afghanistan, and she's a diehard Cowboys fan. And I said, listen, the Eagles played the Cowboys in Dallas. And I said, listen, I want you to meet with Lane Johnson. She's like, well, I'm not holding any Eagles gear. I'll meet with them. And by the end, there's a picture of her wearing Lane Johnson's jersey.
that's love.
And
That's
she's
love.
like, you know, but this idea that Lane wasn't doing this to like bring, you know, awareness to him or build his popularity. He was like, this is important to me.
Oh, he's a good man.
And we've built an amazing friendship. And, you know, just a couple weeks ago, he showed up. We did some celebrity bartending at Chicky and Pete's, and he brought Brandon Graham and Jordan, and we just had like the best time. But yeah, I mean, listen, nothing is sweeter to me than having a great relationship with the Eagles, because my brother was a diehard Eagles fan. And we've owned season tickets since Veteran Stadium. So
that's love, man. Big shout out to you, big dog. It's always good to see you when I come down to the games, man. We've been friends for a long time too. To see you guys connect is definitely, you know, it's beautiful just to see it. I love being around them. And even you just telling that story. I mean, when you get around Lane, you're automatically gonna love that dude. He puts one smile. He got the beard, the baldy, and now newly being bald. That's my bald friend, man. Come on, stop playing. But yeah, like it's just tremendous to see guys, you know, reach out and do things in the community. It's just, I love to see it, man. And also, he wore the My Cause, My Cleats to represent the Ryan Mannion Foundation.
Travis Mannion, yeah, he did. He wore cleats for us, which was so awesome, and yeah, very cool.
I gotta stop saying Ryan. Why do I keep saying that?
That's all right.
Everybody does it though, right?
More people than you think. Yeah.
I was watching the news thing that came up.
Oh yeah, they did on Fox News the other morning.
On Fox News.
And I know him. Like,
why do you keep messing that up?
Yeah,
sorry.
That's okay.
Okay, last but not least, we have the "If Not Me, Then Who" picture, and I want you to really.
That's an oldie.
Yeah, I went deep into the archives with this one.
You know me, I rock. You know, I keep this on 24/7 too.
Yeah.
I want you to talk about that and where it came from.
Yeah.
That saying and what it means to you.
So, you know, getting back to the Philadelphia Eagles, those 5 words were spoken at an Eagles game. My brother was home. It was December of 2006. He was getting ready to leave for a second deployment, and he was like, Dave, we got to go to an Eagles game. So this was just days before he left and flew back to California. That's where he was stationed. And I'll kind of share the bigger version of the story. I do an abridged version, but since you know Dave. So they go to the game, you know, they're out in the parking lot, they're tailgating, you know, eating cheesesteaks, drinking beers. I can't remember who they played. I don't know if it was the Jaguars. I may get that wrong. But anyway, they go to the game, Eagles win, and Dave said, like, Travis was just in, like, the best mood, you know, like, super hyped up, just having the best time. And Dave said, like, all he could keep thinking about was, like, this is it. Like, Travis is leaving. He's going to be gone for another deployment. And he's like, but, you know, I'm trying to, like, keep in the mood with Travis, you know? But he said they're leaving the game. And he said, as they came upon a flight of stairs, they're walking out of the link. He just, like, it was like word vomit. It came out and he was like, hey, Trav, why don't I push you down the stairs? Maybe you'll break your ankle and you won't have to go back to Iraq. And he said, my brother, like, all of a sudden he got real serious and he stopped on the stairwell and he looked at Dave and he's like, Dave, if I don't go back to Iraq, then somebody much less prepared is going to go in my place. If not me, then who?
Wow.
And Dave came home that night and he's like, God, like, I feel like such an asshole. Like, I literally told your brother I wanted to throw him down the stairs. And that's the answer that he gave me. And, you know, after he died, Dave shared that story with the Philadelphia Inquirer.
Wow.
And we started to realize that those were the first time that Travis spoke those 5 words that we had ever heard. But that was how he lived his life every single day.
Yeah.
And so for us, when I talk about that commitment that was made in the room with my dad the day of his funeral, like, we're going to live lives worthy of a sacrifice. For me, it was like, I'm going to live by those 5 words. If not me, then who? And it's obviously a very personal mantra to us, but it is what we try to push out to the entire community around us. It's like, if you can do one thing, like wake up every day and have an if not me, then who moment. A moment where you lead by example. And it doesn't matter how small that is. So when I'm talking to kids, it's like, what's an if not me, then who moment? Like, pick up the piece of paper on the ground, the piece of trash. Like, hold the door for a stranger. You know, as an adult, it's like, try not to like explode on your kids, you know, don't be impatient. Like, and so all of us can find those if not me, then who moments. But like, if you think about like the culmination of these small moments each and every day, it's building us to be better people.
No, yeah. I love it. And it definitely brings me to a story about my brother, you know, and my brother went to the Army.
Yeah.
And I never imagined that my brother would ever do this. And my brother is like this, he's quiet. He seems like he's certain, but he's not certain on what he was trying to do when he was coming out of college. And he made the decision to go and be in the Army and fight for our country. And the strength, the if not me, then who mentality is in my brother too.
100%.
And I don't know where I would be if my brother never came home. And it makes me sad because we would talk about these, like we wouldn't really talk about these stories of when he went to Iraq, when he was over there. But I do know some stories. And he would tell me stories about him having to dig a hole and sleep in it. And like the bravery, the energy, the motivation behind that, like we some kids from the projects in Philly, and he had enough in him to want to go and fight for our country, and he's still here. And I know you watched the show, bro, and I'll never really get a chance to tell you publicly how I feel about you, and I love you, bro. I'm thankful for you. I'm thankful for you to fight for our country. I love you more than anything in this world. I try to see parts of you and a lot of people that I hang around. You're the most brave dude I know. And what you have done, not only for our family, but, you know, you're raising your son. I'm proud of you, bro. And I love you, bro. I just wanted to say that to you. And as we go into the next thing, we call it the Keep Going segment.
Okay.
And it's how we end every show. But I wanted to do something different.
Okay.
I wanted it to be just as I just did for my brother. I want you to do that the same thing for your brother. And there's a picture of your brother that we have, and a part of the Keep Going segment. I want you to, whatever you feel or that you want to say to him, what would you say?
Well, that picture is actually the picture that we used on Travis's mass card.
Wow.
So everybody that came to his funeral got that picture, and you know, we could have very easily used a picture of Travis in uniform. But that's the picture of the Travis that we knew and loved. And I love that you can see his cauliflower ear in that too, from all his days on the wrestling mat. But you know, for me, and I talk to my brother a lot, I would just say how incredible it is that you being gone has created such a legacy for so many, and the lives that your life has changed is incredible. Now, I'll also be very upfront and say that I would take it all back. And as much as of an impact as his life has had on so many others, I selfishly would take it all back to have my brother here by my side. But his name and his story has changed lives. And I think he was changing lives when he was here, but I don't know.
Yeah.
I miss him.
Yeah.
He was the best.
That's love. I love everything about this, and this is what we're trying to do, and this is beautiful. These are beautiful moments. The resiliency, the effort that you've given. Big shout out to your mom for starting this foundation. Huge thank you to you for coming here. We've talked about doing this for probably a year now, and to have done it now, I feel like so complete. I feel like I've completed a mission of not me, then who?
That's right.
And I'm excited with so much gratitude to have you on this show, me and Kenny both. And I hope you wear that Keep Going hoodie in your sleep, because you represent that. And I'm super proud of you and the people that you represent. And just thank you a lot for coming. As we wrap up the show, these are one of the shows that make this show what it is. And it's important to have these conversations. It's important to bring all this stuff together and continue to walk on this journey with us, y'all. Continue to be with us. And always remember, as always, Showtime speaks.
What's the matter with you? There is no tomorrow. There is no tomorrow.